What is Drake Maye's greatest strength? Yes, we've heard a whole bunch over the last few weeks about all the struggles that Drake Maye has had at Patriots training camp, but the truth is, he's come a long way. So we examine what his greatest strengths are and look ahead to his biggest week as a member of the New England Patriots here on Pat's Cast.
Love on the crowd, staying wild. Rookie Drake Maye's got the style. He's got the young.
Welcome to Pat's Cast. I'm Brad Whitaker. Good to be with you today. The Patriots wrapped up a very light Monday practice as they look ahead to two highly competitive days against the Philadelphia Eagles, with a joint practice on Tuesday that's going to get very competitive, and of course, Thursday's preseason game. And we hope to see a lot more from Drake Maye. Certainly he'll be out there in the red jersey on Tuesday, but we would also expect he'll get a lot more reps this Thursday relative to last week against the Carolina Panthers. But I want to ask the audience here a couple of questions here at the top. First question is, what do you think Drake Maye's greatest strength is? Think about it for a moment. Now table it. The second question is, did you know that your internet service provider can see everything that you do online? Yes, it's true. On your Wi-Fi network right now, if you do not have a VPN, hackers can easily access your computer and steal your personal information. They can take anything from your emails, your passwords, even your credit card details. And that's where ExpressVPN comes in. They are one of the most trusted, if not the most trusted, VPN, rated number one by CNET, The Verge, Mashable, and Tech Radar. With ExpressVPN, you can ensure that your privacy details are protected with some of the fastest speeds of any VPN provider, 24/7 customer support. You can even connect up to 8 devices simultaneously if you choose ExpressVPN as your VPN provider. And there's a special offer here for Pat's Cast listeners. If you sign up for the annual plan, you will get the first 3 months free of that 12-month period. You don't want to not have a VPN in 2024. Simply go to expressvpn.com/PatsCast to take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime offer. 3 free months on an annual plan. Get a great discount and make sure you're protected. If you don't have a VPN in 2024, that's ridiculous. Make sure you have a VPN and bring your internet security back to, let's say 1996, when nobody was getting your information and stuff like that. Let's clean it up a little bit. Switch to ExpressVPN and take advantage of this great offer at expressvpn.com/PatsCast. Now, I want to go back to the first question. What is Drake Maye's greatest strength? And we've seen it quite a bit in training camp. And one of it, and I wouldn't say this is his greatest strength, but one of his greatest strengths is his ability to learn quickly. And he's already corrected his footwork, his mechanics, his throwing motion looks completely different from what it was at the beginning of rookie minicamp, at the beginning of OTAs. Looks like a completely different quarterback out there. But where Drake Maye has excelled the most since becoming a member of the New England Patriots has been in the red zone. And he's consistently been able to go through first, second, third, fourth reads in his red zone reps, perhaps even outperforming Jacoby Brissett throughout all of training camp. And that's something that I don't think has been talked about enough. And we know Drake Maye, he's more athletic than what we've seen from quarterbacks in New England over these last few years, aside from Cam Newton, has the ability to extend plays, make throws off of his back foot on balance, do all of those things, and that really shows up when he is in the red zone. But that learning curve of the NFL, being able to make your first, second, third, and fourth read and be able to deliver the football quickly, that has shown, at least for Drake Maye, throughout training camp the entire time. And he's gotten rid of the football quickly, thrown a number of touchdowns, and he did it during red zone reps at practice today. Took 6 snaps in the red zone in 7-on-7s and went 3 for 6 during that time with a pair of darts for touchdowns. And you have to start thinking like this is probably going to be a throwout season, right? We don't expect the Patriots. Maybe they can contend for a playoff spot if everything hits, if the offense and the offensive line is better than we can expect, the defense continues to be a top 5 potential NFL defense, yeah, they can compete for a playoff spot. But assuming this is a throwaway season, I would love to see the Patriots kind of experiment a little bit with Drake Maye in the red zone, even if you have Jacoby Brissett as your starting quarterback. And I'm not saying this is going to happen. It probably isn't, but we've seen this a lot in the UFL or the previous year before in the XFL, USFL, where teams have like two quarterbacks that sort of alternate, and they'll have one quarterback be the carry the offense down the field type guy, and then you have another guy who could be a wildcat type quarterback, or it could be a guy who's a little bit more mobile, a little bit more effective in the red zone, come in when you're at first and goal, and then he carries the offense the rest of the way. I don't think Drake Maye or Alex Van Pelt have that as part of their plans, but if Drake Maye really is outperforming Jacoby Brissett in the red zone, which I would say he's pretty close in training camp, not in the other areas, but in the red zone, maybe you want to try that, especially if you have a few dud drives where Jacoby Brissett carries the team 70 yards and then they keep having to settle for field goals. Why not throw Drake Maye out there in first and goal, second and goal, third and goal situations and see if you can draw something up for him and get his feet wet in the NFL and give him the confidence that he needs going forward by throwing a touchdown pass or scrambling and getting into the end zone. There's a lot you could do there with Drake Maye right off the bat, even if you don't intend on starting him right away. Again, it's not common for the NFL. It really isn't, unless you're running a wildcat or something like that. And I'm not saying the Patriots should go to the wildcat when they get into the red zone, but if we're starting to see throughout the season that Jacoby Brissett is struggling a little bit in the red zone, why not give Drake Maye a shot? And that's all I'm saying. This is where he's excelled the most as a member of the Patriots. He looks perhaps the most ready in the red zone than he does when he has to carry the team down the field. He's really struggled a lot in 1 minute, 2 minute drill situations, hurry up, tempo, the types of things where he has to get in and out of the huddle quickly, read the defense, get the snap off on time. That's a learning curve for a lot of rookie quarterbacks, and Jacoby Brissett is pretty good in those situations. Drake Maye has a long way to go, but you package something up for him in the red zone, why not give it a try? It's just a suggestion. Gerard Mayo, if you're listening, it's just a recommendation. Maybe throw Drake Maye out there in the red zone. Try it in a preseason game, have Jacoby Brissett carry the team on a drive and then put Drake Maye in on third down, drop a play that he knows where he's going, and get his feet wet a little bit. I'd love to see it. I hope it's something that they consider, especially if they really do intend on potentially redshirting Drake Maye through his rookie year and having him sit on the bench. It's an easy way to get his feet wet a little bit, get his confidence up there, especially if he can rack up a few touchdowns in limited time. Maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't, but just an idea if you're listening, Gerard Mayo. But training camp, like I said, the Patriots had a very light practice today, didn't even wear pads. Some players were wearing shells, others were wearing sweats and t-shirts. Kind of went through the motions, not really as intense of a practice, although the defense had their struggles, had a number of pre-play penalties, had to do some laps around the field. They struggled a little bit, but the most crucial practice of Patriots training camp is coming on Tuesday when the Philadelphia Eagles arrive in Foxborough. Going up against an NFC contender. That's the reason why Gerard Mayo only had the team practicing for 90 minutes today without pads and going through very limited competitive drills, particularly red zone drills. The light session saw some struggles in the run game because the offensive line continues to struggle. Vidarian Lowe was back out there at the left tackle spot. He seems to be the starter, at least at this point, unless they can work Caden Wallace into that starting lineup before week one, but as of right now, it has been Vidarian Lowe, and Vidarian Lowe has had a better than expected camp, so if he continues to perform at an average level, he's probably your starter, so don't get your hopes up, Patriots fans. If you don't want to see Vidarian Lowe out there, it's probably going to happen at this point, but the running game continues to struggle against that Patriots defense, but Drake Maye did manage to have a few impressive throws in today's practice. He kind of went neck and neck with Jacoby Brissett in terms of their performance. The play of the day happened. Jacoby Brissett connected with Jalen Reagor for a toe tap touchdown during red zone drills. Burned Christian Gonzalez, but there were some ups and downs throughout the day. I think Joe Milton didn't get a ton of action, and when he did, it was a really tough day for him. Had multiple would-be sacks and what would have been a tip drill interception. So Joe Milton doesn't seem to be getting any increased reps despite his strong performance on Thursday, and Bailey Zappi is still on the roster, so I would expect Zappe to be out there once again as cannon fodder, just hopefully a little bit later in the game after some extended action from Jacoby Brissett and Drake Maye, and hopefully we see a lot more of Joe Milton as well. Brissett and Maye, like I said, shared the load in competitive practices, competitive periods. Brissett went 6 of 12, while Maye went 7 of 13. Both had great moments in the red zone. Like I said, Drake Maye had a couple of great touchdown throws, and that really is his greatest strength, so he continues to perform there. Jacoby Brissett worked with the first team, and Drake Maye kind of came in with the second team, so a little bit of a mystery at what Jerod Mayo was doing last Thursday, with Drake Maye coming in and taking reps with the first team offensive line, and then the second that they were out, Drake Maye was out, and Drake Maye continues to have no reps in actual practices with the first team offensive line. So I'd like to see Jerod Mayo work him in a little bit there. I know that is the plan if Drake Maye continues to develop, but so far we haven't seen it. Two studs out of today's practice. Safety Jalen Hawkins had a real lockdown performance in single coverage, had great anticipation. He looked good out there. And Demario Douglas continues to be a real impact player out there. Had another great practice. He's no longer wearing the red no contact jersey. Great to see him out there. I think he's clearly the Patriots' number one wide receiver, and I think a potential Pro Bowler if he can play 17 games this season and be that bread and butter slot receiver that the Patriots haven't really had since Julian Edelman. And Demario Douglas was that guy last year. He just was in the Bill Belichick doghouse for an extended period of time, but I think Pop Douglas will continue to perform and be the go-to guy for whomever's playing quarterback at the Patriots with the Patriots. And then wide receiver Jalen Reagor had a pretty good day, catching 2 of 4 targets, and had, once again, that touchdown catch against Christian Gonzalez on a pass thrown from Jacoby Brissett. Defense had its moments, particularly in a 3 defensive tackle front that showed promises against a run. Now, how much of that is the defense? How much is that is the Swiss cheese Patriots offensive line? I'm not sure. We're also seeing a lot of players rotate in terms of special teams. Is it going to be Demario Douglas? Is it going to be Jalen Reagor? KJ Osborne is also fielding punts. Marcus Jones is still recovering from an injury. He was present but did not participate in drills. You know he'll have an impact on that special teams unit. Right now, I would say it's probably going to be Reagor and Osborne, just because you don't want to risk Demario Douglas getting injured since he's probably the team's top receiver. Reagor has had a decent camp at wide receiver, had a good practice today. I don't think he's going to get a ton of reps at the position, but it's good to know that you have him on the roster if you need someone to step up at the receiver position, and he's going to make the team just because of what he can contribute on special teams. Had a return for a touchdown last year against the Buffalo Bills. I think Jalen Reagor is pretty much a lock to make the team at this point. Tyquan Thornton, videos of him having some drops today at practice on some fairly easy throws and warm-ups. Not a great look. He's been one of the more consistent receivers for the Patriots thus far throughout camp, but I think Kayshon Boutte is making a strong case for making the team. And now that Juju's no longer in the way, I think it comes down to those 2 players for making the last roster spot. I might give Boutte the edge there, just because Tyquan Thornton hasn't managed to stay healthy, despite being consistent in practices, has not been consistent, not just at seeing the field, but even in terms of playing when he's been on the field. Whereas Kayshon Boutte, I think, is the type of guy where if you demote him to the practice squad, some other team may want to look at him. Whereas Tyquan Thornton, I don't think you're risking that as much. But the truth is, one of these guys is going to be hurt, right? We don't know if Kendrick Bourne is going to be ready to go right away. If he can't start week 1, then I think you're going to have both Tyquan Thornton and Kayshon Boutte on the active roster. Tyquan Thornton's down, Boutte will be there. Boutte's down, Tyquan will be there. There's always probably going to be an injured receiver. That's just the way the NFL works. So there's a good chance that both of those guys are on the active roster throughout the season, unless everyone is healthy, but that is very rare in today's NFL. So be interesting to see how that plays out. But like I said, tomorrow's joint practice with the Eagles is a critical test. It's probably more important than even Thursday's preseason game where the quarterbacks are actually going to be taking hits. I still want to see a lot more of Drake Maye out there, even if you're risking injury, just for him to get real playing action, because it doesn't sound like he's going to see a lot of that during the regular season. I think Jacoby Brissett pretty much has his job locked up. But tomorrow's practice is a big deal. We know these joint practices are where coaches make key decisions about who's going to make the active roster, who's not, who's going to start, who's going to be part of the second unit. This is where Mac Jones ultimately beat out Cam Newton, was when they were facing the New York Giants. The New York Giants came to town. They did a couple of joint practices. It was clear that Mac Jones was the much better quarterback than Cam Newton, and then it was only a matter of weeks before Cam Newton was cut and Mac Jones became the Patriots starter. Wouldn't expect that even if Drake Maye performs much better than Jacoby Brissett, just because Brissett has consistently been the better quarterback. But Maye can make a real case, and if he can make a case in joint practices, have a good preseason game on Thursday, then maybe we can start to have this conversation heading into the final preseason game and heading into the regular season about who should be the team starter. But as of right now, I don't even think the conversation is worth having. We need Drake Maye to have two of his best days coming up for that conversation to even happen. So tomorrow is the biggest day for Drake Maye since he's been a member of the New England Patriots, and I think Thursday is the second biggest day, and probably the biggest day in our eyes, because that's probably going to be the most we see in terms of extended reps, at least until the third game of the preseason. But at that point, Jerod Mayo may already have an idea of which spots are going to be locked up. Drake Maye has an opportunity here to really join the conversation about whether or not he should be the team starter in the coming days. So the next 3 days are huge for Drake Maye. I hope he performs, not just in the red zone. I hope he can do some 2-minute drills, carry the team down the field, and ideally get some reps with the first team, which we really haven't seen other than the few reps that he got in the preseason game last week. So going to be interesting. We'll be here at Pat's Cast to cover it. So just looking ahead, like I said, Patriots will have joint practices with the Eagles tomorrow, and then an off day on Wednesday before their preseason game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And then we'll also have an interesting week next week with the Washington Commanders and their final preseason game. But you're not going to want to miss it. If you like this video, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, or subscribe if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We'll see you throughout the rest of the week.
Roll from the crowd, staying wild. Rookie Drake Maye's got the style. He's got the arm strength, throws like a flame. Every pass he throws lights up the game. Pat's Cast on blast, hear the roar. He's in the red zone, we want more. Touchdowns raining left and right. Watch him soar into the night. Pat's cast, hear it loud. Drake Maye whispers through the crowd. Pat's cast, feel the heat. Every touchdown tastes so sweet. Down the field, he runs like a storm. Under pressure performs, keeps us warm. Helmet gleams under the sun's last